Ladies and gentlemen, today we stand at the intersection of two extraordinary realms, the wisdom of ancient Hindu philosophy and the groundbreaking insights of modern science. These two seem worlds apart, one rooted in spirituality, the other in empirical discovery, but as we look deeper, we may find a convergence of ideas that offer a more profound understanding of life itself. We will explore the concept of the 9 Hindu avatars and juxtapose them with Darwin's theory of evolution, two perspectives on the development and transformation of life, both of which seek to explain the journey of creation. The Hindu tradition speaks of 10 avatars or incarnations of Lord Vishnu. Each avatar symbolizes a stage in the cosmic evolution, reflecting the gradual evolution of life in response to changing circumstances. These avatars are not just divine figures but metaphors for the evolution of consciousness and the human journey. When we think about the evolutionary framework proposed by Charles Darwin, we see something quite similar, a process of gradual adaptation, progression and transformation through time. What we must understand is that both these perspectives, spiritual and scientific, share a common thread. Transformation is the very essence of existence. Whether it is the avatars that descend to guide humanity or the species that evolve through natural selection, both describe a continual process of change, adaptation and growth. Today, let's explore how these two approaches to evolution, spiritual and scientific, are not contradictory but rather complementary. The Hindu tradition speaks of 10 avatars of Lord Vishnu, each representing a unique stage of cosmic evolution. These avatars are not merely divine incarnations but symbolic representations of the transformation and progression of life across time. As we delve into the avatars, we can see a striking parallel to the evolutionary principles outlined in Darwin's theory, though the two approaches come from very different perspectives, one spiritual and the other scientific. The first avatar, Macha, is a fish. This form represents the earliest stage of life, emerging from the water and symbolizing the dawn of life on earth. In Darwin's theory of evolution, life begins in water, with the first organisms emerging in aquatic environments before evolving to more complex forms. Macha's descent into the world marks the first step in the journey of creation, a metaphor for the earliest life forms that would eventually adapt and evolve into more complex organisms. As we move to the second avatar, Kurma, the tortoise, we encounter the image of stability and endurance. Kurma's role in the mythology involves supporting the churning of the ocean to bring forth the elixir of immortality. In the evolutionary narrative, the tortoise represents an enduring, adaptable life form, one that has existed for millions of years with little change, a testament to the success of slow, steady adaptation over time. It is an example of life's capacity to endure and thrive through periods of change. Much as many species on earth have remained largely unchanged for millennia, evolving subtly to their environment. Next, we find the avatar of Varaha, the boar. This incarnation represents the raising of the earth from the cosmic ocean, an act of restoration and protection. Varaha symbolizes the emergence of terrestrial life, the move from the water to the land. This reflects the evolutionary transition that took place millions of years ago when life forms began to adapt to land-based environments. The shift from aquatic to terrestrial organisms is a pivotal moment in the history of life on earth, a journey from the depths of the oceans to the broad expanse of the land. The fourth avatar, Narasimha, the half-man, half-lion, is a powerful symbol of overcoming adversity through transformation. This avatar represents a breaking of the conventional boundaries of form, a dramatic shift from one state of existence to another. In the evolutionary context, this can be compared to the radical transformations that species undergo in response to extreme environmental changes or pressures. Narasimha's emergence during a time of crisis parallels the sudden, sometimes violent shifts in nature that bring about new species or drive evolutionary leaps forward, like the emergence of mammals after the extinction of the dinosaurs. The fifth avatar, Vamana, the dwarf, represents the idea of humility and the subjugation of ego. Vamana's smallness is symbolic of the ability to effect great change through subtlety, and in the evolutionary sense, this reflects the gradual yet profound changes that accumulate over vast periods of time. Evolution is not always about grand, sweeping transformations. It often unfolds in small, incremental steps that, over time, lead to monumental shifts in the form of life. Vamana's act of measuring the entire universe with 3 strides suggests that even the smallest actions, over time, can reshape the world around us. Next, we encounter Parashurama, the warrior with an axe. This avatar is associated with the destruction of the corrupt and the establishment of Dharma or righteous order. In evolutionary terms, Parashurama could represent the periodic resets that occur in nature, the extinctions and cataclysms that, though destructive, often lead to the creation of new life forms. Evolution is not a linear, smooth process but is often marked by upheavals that reshape the course of development. Just as Parashurama's axe clears the old to make way for the new, evolutionary events such as mass extinctions make space for the rise of new species. Rama, the seventh avatar, is the epitome of dharma or righteousness. His story reflects the battle between good and evil, between order and chaos. In the context of evolution, this could symbolize the ongoing struggle of species to adapt and survive in a world that is constantly changing. The constant push and pull of survival, fighting off predators, adapting to new environments, and securing resources is mirrored in Rama's fight for justice. Rama's journey reminds us that evolution is a battle for survival and harmony in the face of ever-changing circumstances. The eighth avatar, Krishna, is often regarded as the most divine and is associated with wisdom, compassion, and divine play. Krishna's teachings in the Bhagavad Gita emphasize the importance of recognizing one's true nature and purpose in the world. Evolution, too, is a journey of discovering and fulfilling potential. Krishna embodies the principle that life's purpose is to evolve not just physically but also spiritually, to recognize the interconnectedness of all beings and to understand the deeper meaning of existence. This aligns with the idea that human beings are not only evolving biologically but are also on a spiritual journey toward greater awareness and enlightenment. The ninth avatar, Buddha, represents the enlightenment of the human spirit. His teachings on suffering, compassion, and liberation from the cycle of birth and death echo a profound understanding of existence. Buddha's message invites us to transcend the limitations of the physical world and seek a higher truth. In the evolutionary framework, this can be seen as the evolution of consciousness, a shift from mere survival to the realization of a higher purpose in life. Just as species evolve to adapt to the physical world, human beings are called to evolve their consciousness to transcend suffering and achieve inner peace. Finally, we arrive at Kalki, the future avatar who is yet to appear. Kalki is often depicted as a warrior who will come to restore balance in a world that has become overrun by corruption and chaos. This avatar represents the potential for future transformation, the promise of a new age of purity and enlightenment. In the evolutionary sense, Kalki symbolizes the ongoing future potential of humanity and life itself. It reminds us that evolution is not a fixed endpoint, but an ongoing process. Just as species continue to evolve, humanity too has the capacity for continued spiritual and conscious development, transcending the limitations of the present and entering into a higher state of being. Throughout these avatars, we see a consistent theme of progression, adaptation, and transformation. The Hindu avatars tell the story of life's journey from the simplest forms of existence to the most enlightened. They mirror the gradual and continuous transformation that is central to the evolutionary process. Just as the avatars evolve in response to the needs of the universe, species on Earth evolve in response to the ever-changing forces of nature. Both narratives, one spiritual, one scientific, reveal that transformation, whether it is physical or spiritual, is the essence of life. Both the avatars and the theory of evolution teach us that change is inevitable, and it is through adaptation and growth that life continues to unfold. The concept of life's progressive nature is one that both ancient spiritual traditions and modern scientific theories address in unique ways. In Hinduism, the idea of evolution is explored through the 10 avatars of Lord Vishnu, each representing a stage in the evolution of consciousness and existence. These avatars provide a framework for understanding how life progresses, not only through the physical forms that evolve over time, but also through a deeper spiritual evolution that mirrors humanity's journey toward greater awareness and understanding. Similarly, Darwin's theory of evolution offers a scientific perspective on life's progressive nature, focusing on how species change and adapt over time to better fit their environments. The idea of progression, whether biological, spiritual, or both, is central to both these viewpoints, showing that life is not static but ever-changing, ever-evolving. In the scientific realm, Darwin's theory of evolution explains how species gradually adapt through the process of natural selection. This gradual, step-by-step adaptation over vast periods of time allows species to survive in an ever-changing environment. Life, according to this theory, is a continuous progression, with each generation building upon the adaptations of the previous one. The driving force behind this process is survival. Those organisms best suited to their environment pass on their traits to future generations, and over time those traits become more pronounced, while less advantageous traits fade away. This ongoing progression results in the diversity of life we see today, from the simplest microorganisms to complex animals and humans. The progressive nature of life, however, is not merely about physical survival. It also involves the development of more intricate behaviors, cognitive abilities, and social structures. As species evolve, they become increasingly complex. And with this complexity often comes the development of new capabilities, whether it's the ability to solve problems, build communities, or adapt to new environments. In the human experience, this progression is not just biological but also intellectual and emotional as we develop new ways of thinking and interacting with the world. The evolution of human consciousness, our ability to reflect, to empathize and to understand our place in the world demonstrates that life's progression is a multidimensional process that spans beyond the physical realm. In Hinduism, the avatars of Vishnu offer a metaphorical map of this progression. From the first avatar, Matsya the fish, we see life's emergence from the water, a reflection of the early stages of life on earth. This marks the beginning of a long evolutionary journey, one that will continue with each avatar as life forms become progressively more complex. Kurma, the tortoise, symbolizes the stability and endurance required for survival. As life adapts to different conditions, it develops the necessary traits to endure through time. Vara, the boar, marks a critical point in evolution, the transition from aquatic life to terrestrial life. This step in the evolutionary journey speaks to the physical and ecological progression of life on Earth. As we move forward through the avatars, each one brings us closer to human consciousness and awareness. Narasimha, the half-man, half-lion, embodies transformation and resilience. It suggests that evolution is not merely about biological changes but about overcoming challenges and evolving in response to adversity. This reflects how life progresses through the struggle for survival, but also how species, human beings especially, grow and transform through challenges, developing new ways of thinking and being. The avatar of Vamana, the dwarf, symbolizes the importance of humility and balance. Evolution is not only about grand transformations but also about the subtle, often overlooked changes that accumulate over time. This mirrors the quiet, incremental changes that Darwin's theory suggests lead to the emergence of new species. These small but significant shifts accumulate to form the complex world of life we see today. As we move into the later avatars, such as Rama and Krishna, we begin to see the evolution of consciousness itself. Rama, the righteous warrior, represents the ideal of Dharma or moral order. The evolution of life, in this sense, is not only about adapting to physical challenges but also about evolving toward higher states of ethical and spiritual awareness. Similarly, Krishna, with his teachings of love, devotion and wisdom, exemplifies the human potential for spiritual growth. Life's progressive nature includes not only physical adaptations but also the development of greater awareness, compassion and understanding, qualities that define our humanity and elevate us beyond mere survival. The avatar of Buddha brings us to a different stage in life's progression. Buddha's teachings focus on the liberation of the soul from suffering, symbolizing a shift in human evolution toward enlightenment. In this view, life's progression is not just about adapting to the material world but also about transcending it. This speaks to the potential for spiritual evolution where individuals move beyond the constraints of the physical world and the cycle of birth and death to reach a higher state of consciousness. Finally, the avatar of Kalki represents the future, a time yet to come when the world will be transformed once more. Kalki symbolizes the potential for humanity to evolve into something even greater, a state of enlightenment and balance that transcends the limitations of the present moment. This avatar reflects the ongoing, never-ending nature of evolution, both physical and spiritual. Life's progression is not an endpoint but an eternal journey, with each phase building upon the last, always evolving, always growing. Whether viewed through the lens of Darwin's theory or the Hindu concept of avatars, life's progressive nature is a theme that pervades both biological and spiritual realms. In the physical world, evolution is an ongoing process, marked by gradual changes and adaptations that allow life to thrive. But in the spiritual world, progression is equally important as human beings evolve not only in their physical forms but also in their consciousness and understanding. These two forms of progression, biological and spiritual, are interconnected, both moving toward greater complexity, awareness and harmony. Life's journey is one of constant change, a process of growth and transformation that continues to unfold, whether in the form of a species adapting to its environment or a soul evolving toward enlightenment or adaptation to circumstances, is a central theme, both biological evolution and spiritual teachings. In nature, adaptation is a necessary response to the ever-changing conditions of the environment. Species evolve over time to survive and thrive in their surroundings, responding to pressures such as climate, food availability, predators, and other factors that shape their existence. This concept of adaptation extends beyond mere survival. It speaks to the deeper capacity for change, flexibility and resilience that life itself embodies. Similarly, in the spiritual context, the ability to adapt is not just about physical survival but about responding to the shifting circumstances of the inner world, the challenges and lessons that shape the evolution of consciousness. In Darwin's theory of evolution, adaptation is at the heart of the natural selection process. Species that possess traits suited to their environment are more likely to survive and reproduce, passing on those advantageous traits to future generations. This process results in species becoming better equipped to handle the specific challenges posed by their environment. Over time, even subtle adaptations can accumulate, leading to the emergence of entirely new species. The diversity of life we see today is the product of this continuous dynamic process of adaptation, where each species responds to its environment in its own unique way, whether by developing physical traits like stronger limbs or sharper senses, or by evolving behaviors that increase their chances of survival. But adaptation is not always a smooth or gradual process. Environmental changes can sometimes create sudden challenges, forcing species to adapt quickly or face extinction. In these cases, natural selection operates more rapidly, favoring traits that allow organisms to cope with immediate threats. This process can be seen in the way certain species have evolved in response to cataclysmic events, such as the mass extinctions that have occurred throughout Earth's history. After such events, new species rise to take the place of the old, adapting to the new world that emerges. This ability to rapidly adapt to new circumstances is an essential part of life's resilience and ensures that life continues to evolve even in the face of great challenges. In the context of Hindu teachings, the theme of adaptation is similarly evident. The avatars of Vishnu each appear at a critical moment in time to restore balance and guide humanity through turbulent periods. Each avatar adapts to the specific challenges of the era, responding to the imbalance and chaos that has arisen. From Matsya the fish that saves the sacred scriptures from a great deluge, to Kalki, the future avatar who will restore righteousness in a time of corruption, the avatars demonstrate that the divine adapts to circumstances, descending into the world in various forms to address the needs of the time. The avatars embody the principle that life must evolve, shift and adapt to the conditions that arise both in the material world and in the realm of consciousness. The role of consciousness in both biological evolution and spiritual development is a fascinating subject that ties together the physical and metaphysical dimensions of existence. While Darwin's theory of evolution focuses on the biological aspect of life, the evolution of consciousness speaks to a deeper, subtler progression that transcends the mere survival of species. Consciousness, in its many forms, has played an essential role in how life evolves, adapts and interacts with the world. It is through consciousness that living beings gain awareness, make decisions and ultimately navigate the complexities of life. As we explore this topic, we see that the evolution of consciousness is not separate from the biological process but intricately linked, guiding and shaping life in ways that go beyond the physical. Biologically, consciousness is often associated with the brain and nervous system, with more complex forms of awareness emerging in higher species. In simpler organisms, consciousness may be limited to basic survival instincts, such as the ability to detect light or respond to danger. As species evolve and develop more sophisticated neural systems, their consciousness expands, allowing for more intricate behaviors, social structures and cognitive abilities. For example, mammals exhibit a higher degree of consciousness compared to reptiles, as they are capable of complex social behaviors, emotional responses and problem solving. Humans, with our highly developed brain, experience consciousness at an even more refined level, with the ability to think abstractly, reflect on our actions and ponder our place in the universe. This progressive development of consciousness is reflected in the avatars of Vishnu, where each incarnation represents a different stage of spiritual awareness and adaptation to the conditions of the time. As the avatars descend to earth, they embody the shifting nature of consciousness, moving from the simplest forms of awareness like Matsya, the fish, to the higher forms like Krishna and Buddha, who exemplify divine wisdom and enlightenment. Each avatar demonstrates a stage in the evolution of consciousness, moving from instinctual existence to the realization of higher truths and deeper understanding. This journey from instinctual awareness to spiritual enlightenment mirrors the evolution of consciousness in humans as we strive to rise above our primal instincts and develop a more profound connection with the world around us. Consciousness in this sense is not just about perceiving the world, but about interpreting and responding to it. It is the filter through which we understand reality, form relationships and make decisions. As consciousness evolves, so does the capacity for empathy, wisdom and spiritual insight. Humans are capable of transcending the physical world through the development of higher consciousness, which allows us to reflect on our thoughts, challenge our assumptions, and expand our understanding of existence. This self-awareness is a significant part of what makes us human, setting us apart from other species in our ability to contemplate abstract concepts like morality, beauty, and the meaning of life. The evolution of consciousness is also linked to the capacity for self-transformation. As individuals become more conscious of their own thoughts and behaviors, they are able to change and grow. This process of self-awareness and transformation can be seen in the practice of meditation, mindfulness, and other spiritual disciplines which aim to cultivate a deeper understanding of the self and the world. By observing our thoughts, emotions, and actions without attachment or judgment, we can begin to see the patterns that govern our lives and in turn break free from negative habits and limiting beliefs. This inner transformation is an essential part of the evolution of consciousness, as it allows individuals to rise above the distractions of the ego and connect with a higher sense of purpose and meaning. The role of consciousness in the evolutionary process extends beyond the individual to the collective. As human beings, we are not isolated. Our consciousness is interconnected with the larger fabric of existence. The collective consciousness of humanity has the potential to evolve in ways that can reshape society and the world. The ideas and philosophies that emerge from human thought, whether in science, art, politics, or spirituality, are a reflection of the evolving consciousness of the time. As individuals raise their awareness, they contribute to the collective awakening, which in turn shapes the course of history. This collective aspect of consciousness underscores the importance of fostering higher awareness, not just for personal growth but for the well-being of society as a whole. In the context of the avatars, the evolution of consciousness also reflects the divine plan for the universe. Each avatar descends to earth to restore balance and guide humanity back to righteousness. The avatar's actions and teachings provide the wisdom needed to raise the consciousness of individuals and society, helping them evolve toward a higher state of being. This spiritual evolution, like biological evolution, is a gradual process unfolding over time as humanity's awareness expands. The presence of divine avatars in various forms throughout history serves as a reminder that consciousness is not static but constantly evolving, and that the ultimate goal is to reach a state of unity with the divine. As we reflect on the journey of evolution, whether through the lens of biology or consciousness, we see that life is a continuous unfolding, a process of adaptation, transformation, and growth. From the simplest forms of existence to the most enlightened expressions of consciousness, the progression is not merely about survival but about the expansion of awareness, understanding, and connection. Just as species evolve in response to their environments, so too does consciousness evolve, guiding humanity toward greater wisdom, compassion, and unity. In both the physical and spiritual realms, life is an ongoing dance of change, an eternal process of becoming. The teachings of the avatars, the discoveries of science, and the wisdom passed down through generations all point to the same truth: life is not static, it is a living, breathing journey toward higher states of being. It is our ability to adapt, to evolve, and to grow in the face of changing circumstances that defines us as individuals, as communities, and as a species. May we embrace this journey with awareness and openness, recognizing that each step, no matter how challenging, is an opportunity to evolve, not just in body but in mind and spirit. As we continue to adapt and expand our consciousness, we move closer to the realization of our highest potential and the true harmony of life itself.